All right, all right. Greetings, family. Greetings. Good to see you all for another episode of the Grand Rise Collective podcast. We have a special guest today. All right, definitely we're gonna have a healthy conversation today. All right, Black History Month. It's the near the end of the month, but this is going. This what's it like? We'll say back for the first time.
Yeah.
Like for the first time. And before we get started, it's myself, Kyle Dixon, and my co-host, Kayode Bentley, who is not here today. He had to take care of some emergencies, but everything is good, family. No worries. He will be back for the next Grand Rising podcast. So don't fret. I know it looks a little different, but we still moving ahead. We still making moves and doing things that need to be done. So without further ado, we got the man, the legend. Right, this brother right here, family. I've known him for a short time, but if you know what they say, it feels like you know this person like forever, and this person just has just a strong presence and spirit. You can't deny this person here. And you know, he's a brother. Once we start get talking, you'll see why I have him on the podcast. Him and I've been talking about this for over a year, getting him on here, but he's been so busy. Our schedule's been busy. Uh, Introduce yourself, brother Dellguan Coleman, man. Pleasure to have you today.
Hey. Thank you. Yeah. Dellguan Coleman, um, founder of Movie Go, co-founder of Coleman and Neal. Thank you for rocking and promoting.
Mhm.
Um, 901 Union founder and Green Thumbs Lawn Service founder and Wedding Heaven. Here we go.
All right. All right. So you see, fam, you're like, wow, is he gonna keep going? Like that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. And family Delguan, the brother is doing a lot of great things, not just things, but doing great things. When we say people are busy, it's not him being busy, it's him being productive, and that's the goal. But Delguan, man, let's go into it, man. Let's hop into it. Give people a little about who you are, your background, where you're from, and just get ideas like who you are and what you're doing.
Um, well, I'm Dellguan Coleman. I'm from South Memphis. Born and raised. Um, I think I'm pretty simple. I'm better with questions, but
Hmm.
I'm just basically a forward thinker. Um, some people call me an activist. I don't know. I just think I'm doing my part on this planet while I'm here, and I'm
Hmm.
for my culture. I'm for everybody, but you know, very proactive about my culture because we're the oppressed people. So
Hmm.
I rather attack uh, a lot of our situations economically versus verbatim and with the fist up. I rather get this up,
Hmm.
and then we can talk about everything else. But that's pretty much me every day, all day. Busy business. That's it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Indeed, brother. Like it being Black History Month, and you and I both know Black History is every month because we're making history.
Right.
Um, but I know you and I talked about like the principles. We want to, if we want to really go into it, family as a collective. Like him and I talked about the principles of like, Ujima, Ujama, collective work responsibility, cooperative economics, and this is a brother who really practices that, along with many other brothers and sisters who he works with. So, Deborah, man, could you go into like your businesses, man? You being an entrepreneur and what led you overall into that avenue? Because a lot of people look at entrepreneurship as like this unattainable or just this like kind of huge idea that is only meant for the few. But could you break down like what led you into your entrepreneurship and even the businesses that you own and operate?
Okay. Well, let me say this first
Okay.
before I forget, because when you said that, I thought about that, and a lot of times people think it's only one type of entrepreneurs, but it's three type of entrepreneurs. You
Mm,
have a person, you have a I guess a practicing entrepreneur. That's
mm-hmm,
a person that has a skill but hasn't made income from it, but they do have a skill set. And because we're all born with gifts, we just got to tap into it. And then you got the part-time entrepreneur. That's a person that may work at FedEx, but also make cupcakes and hasn't collected enough revenue to step away from corporate America. And then you have a full-time entrepreneur that has the clients, to the point where they couldn't work for anybody else, even if they wanted to, because they have so many clients. So um, those are the three types of entrepreneurs, and if you're interested in being it, for the most part, you start off just like everybody does, for the most part. If you're not in like generational wealth, or if it isn't passed down, you start off as just a person that's practicing making cakes. We're gonna say making cakes, and then you're
Mhm.
good, and then you let people taste it or whatever. But I would say start off, not starting off, you would want to find a body of people. First, you gotta see if it's good, and then and once it's good, and people start asking, well, man, can you make me a dozen of these? How much would you charge? That's when you start, and then you might be working at Dollar Tree or Dollar General or FedEx, and you got more people around. You can pass out your cars or have samples and bring them to lunch, and then there you go. And then people start asking, and you have to make a demand, and you never quit. You don't quit the clients pull you off the job. So when they get to the point where you start negotiating, like, do I take off again to make these cakes, or do I go ahead and miss this order? You know what I'm saying? Now you get there, and then you just do the math and say, well, I make 600 a week, so I only need 30 consistent clients a month to make
Mhm.
that, or whatever the ratio is. And then that's when you dive into, you take that leap, but they pulling you off the job, you know what I'm saying? And just,
Mhm.
leave it like that. But what got me into it was, you know, uh, I don't like talk. Like a lot of people like to have that story of, oh, I was in jail, and da 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 da. My father left me.
Mhm.
No, I have a two-parent home. I did, I was basically like out hustling, selling CDs or whatever, making capital. Um, because like the job I was working at, I just wasn't making enough, and I was
Mhm.
making a side hustle, and then I got incarcerated, did 7 months, came out, and I started doing comedy shows. Not to say that I'm a
Mhm.
comic, I knew comics
Mhm.
around, and I would put the show together. Uh, this guy gave me the opportunity. I forgot, black guy, Michael, Mark, whatever. Gave me the opportunity. He gave me the door, and
Okay.
I thought that was it. I was like, oh, he was like, you can keep the door. Like, you get full equity. I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was doing it. And he was like,
And
man,
what
when
does
I
that
get the
mean?
bar,
Definitely like the door, like because some
get the
people like,
door.
yeah.
Okay, so if you're doing a show, I was doing comedy shows, but if you're doing any
Mhm.
kind of show and you're using somebody's building, and they say, hey man, you can have the door. That means all the sales from the door, you get that 100%. But when they're saying that, they're saying 9 times out of 10 they got the bar, or they got the in-house, as far as in like the food, the liquor, the stuff
Mhm.
that's going to make consistent money.
Yeah.
I get paid once. The bar's going to get you paid all night long as the show. So I didn't know, but I was still making decent money.
Mhm.
And so I would tell anybody, if you're going to do an event, buy out the whole building so you can create your bar, or a headquarters where there's uh, food, or condiments, and merchandise that you can sell, and you
Mhm.
have the door. So now
Yeah.
it's a win-win all the way across the board. So that's how I do all my events now. I buy the entire building, or I rent out the entire building. You
Mhm.
know, I
Okay.
hope I didn't segue,
No, no, not
too
at all.
far
Not
out.
at all. Not at all, brother. No, because what you're going into is like the dynamics of how businesses can operate, and that's one thing that I really admire about how you create your businesses is that you start with a very simple concept and then you expand out. But what I really like about how you do things, you definitely know your numbers, right? Because when we talk about business on the other end, people always talk about the service and the product and how it is to the customers, but then the infrastructure of starting, maintaining, and progressing the business, you got to know the numbers. So like
Always.
Is that a skill of yours, or is that something you picked up and learned, like knowing those numbers and how to operate in reference of your business and keeping it open? You know.
No, it's no different from having a full tank of gas and
Hmm.
you only got 10 more dollars to your name. So you're
Hmm.
calculating your steps. Everything is calculated. When you're a full-time entrepreneur, you're calculating your steps. Everything is calculated. I can
Hmm.
only make so many mistakes before I have to fill out an application if I'm not, aware of my clients and what I need to do. So it's just like having a full tank of gas and you only
Hmm.
got $10 and you got to get to from point A to point B. So that vehicle needs to be making more $10 to keep it running. There's no, and that's your business. Your car's the
Hmm.
business. You got to feed your car to go from point A to point Z. No different from your business. So I have to
Hmm.
make so many sales to stay in business. If not, I'll be out of gas. I'll be, you know. So and everything in business, you're either selling a product or a service. That's it. There's nothing else you're selling. You know, unless you're trying to sell your dignity, but you don't want to sell it because you can't buy that back.
Right, right.
Can't
We're
buy
gonna
your
get into
dignity
that.
back. Yeah.
Right, we're gonna get into that. We'll get into that later because a lot of people their dignity and they so close to their soul on the line, and they find that they
Yeah.
got out. You know what I'm saying? They gamble. You know,
Yeah, you
and
don't
it's
want to do that.
yeah. Nah, you don't.
Uh-uh.
Integrity. We talk about business integrity. You know,
Yeah,
and
you can't buy that back.
right. And let me go into that too because you as a as some people say, you said some people say you're an activist. You know, into your community. How like specifically like movie go right or the 901 union man? Could you talk about that man because people think that sometimes their businesses are separate from the communities they come from or the communities they're trying to serve. They feel like, and also to be very real, a lot of Black folks feel like people come into our communities to take our money, to take our energy and resources, and not put it back in. So could you kind of talk about that in reference to your business connection with that concept?
As far as in the community and the culture.
Correct.
Well, okay. Well, MovieGo is a platform. It's an indie film company. Therefore, it works kind of like Uber. You can either you got a platform full of directors, writers, authors, costume designers, score, uh, playwriters, whatever. So you can either hire these people or you can be one of these people on the platform. So if you're looking for work, you say, "Hey man, I'm a inspiring actor. I'm looking for gigs. I need work, yada yada yada," or I'm an illustrator. I got a comic book that I got and I want to put it on the platform. I want to reach my people, however, wherever. And that's
Mhm.
open for everybody. But I built it. It's for us, by us, football at the end of the day. So we don't have to always be begging and knocking on, Hollywood's door to feel accepted because to me, people are people. When I do indie film nights, I buy the building, I rent the entire building out.
Mhm.
I have a platform where indie filmmakers can come up there, they interview, we promote their film, we have an audience, we have Q&As, we got popcorn, food, or whatever, and you turn your influence into income. So once you get an audience, because we got the internet now. Now I'm not saying
Mhm.
I wouldn't do business with Paramount or anybody else. I do business with anybody. Business is business. It doesn't
Yeah.
have a color or shape. It's just I prefer that we have our own platform. Just like you want your own car. You don't want to be borrowing somebody else's car all the time. You know what I'm saying? Even if
Mhm.
they like, oh, it's cool, it's cool. I'm your son. I mean, I'm your mother, I'm your father. You still want to have your own car to be like, hey, look what I did. So with
Mhm.
that being said, with MovieGo, man, it's for us by us. No different from the 901 union. We meet every Sunday, just like this. We're a group of entrepreneurs and forward thinkers. You don't necessarily have to be, and it's a resource team. So you don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to be an entrepreneur. You might just be a person that just want to check it out. You might be looking for a Coleman and Neil or a wedding company or a lawn service or whatever. It's a lot of resources on there.
Mhm.
And I got a lot of important people that's part of the 901 union, like Marco McClendon, the mayor of West Memphis, Charleston White, you, it's a lot of resources, and
Mhm.
it's no big eyes and little U's. It's
Mhm.
family. Yeah, it's family. It's nothing confrontational, and for the people that feel like, hey man, this isn't my thing, they can leave. It's no harm. It's not a big deal. But most people that come enjoy it, unless you coming in the wrong, unless your motive is, something different,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, like, being a part of that collective, man, especially here at Grand Rise Collective, we pride ourselves on connecting with folks who are about the work. They're really doing what they said they're supposed to be doing,
Mm.
and being able to, like I said, connect with other individuals or groups or organizations who are putting in that work, putting in that time, putting in that investment, into the community. Could you
Yeah, we
talk
have
about?
to ally.
Yeah, we
It's a
have to.
must now. Yeah, it's a must that we have to ally economically, not just to march and protest. Just like, I remember this happened around the George Floyd time, and in Memphis they was doing a thing. There was brothers on the corner, and I was leaving. I was shooting this film, so I was
Mhm.
leaving, trying to leave the parking lot. It was kind of hectic, and they was like, "Yo, brother, pull over, pull over." And I was like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right." So I got out of the car, pulled over, and it was about uh, 11 brothers, questioning me, yo, brother, da, da, da. I was like, oh, wait, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Is this a black agenda? They're like, huh? I was like, is
Mhm.
this a black agenda? They were like, yeah, this a black agenda. And I was like, well, why are you wearing Reeboks? Why are you promoting Polo? I like how you hold your fists up, and this is supposed to be a black agenda, and you know everything on you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. And this is my thing. If it's going to be a black agenda,
Mhm.
you have to be in uniform. It don't have to be Coleman and Neil. It
Mhm.
could be anybody. It could be FUBU. It could be anything. If this is a black agenda when they was, and let's think about that. You got people marching and they're not even in uniform to the if it's a black agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
I'm marching for a black agenda, my uniform is going to be black. It's going to be. I'm making this is the agenda. But
Mhm.
and then they looked at my feet. They were like, "Well, you got on Ferragamos," and I was like, "Nah, these are Coleman and Neils." And I gave them options. It wasn't like to shun on them, but to actually turn on the light bulb. We all have them light bulbs, but sometimes some of them are turned off. So I just turn on light bulbs to let them see it. And it wasn't aggressive. They were more so aware. And then I gave them an opportunity to be like, hey, man, you can I'll doll y'all up. I'll dress you. Just patronize me. You know what I'm saying? I give it to you for the price that I pay for. So you can march. Now you feel better about yourself when you're
Mhm.
marching for this black agenda. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Mhm.
a lot of times, man, we just we've been so bamboozled with uh, uh, other people's ideas and ideologies that we don't even know that we're practicing self-hate.
Mhm.
We're not even aware of it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like cutting your eyebrows off to draw something thinner or back, right? You know what I'm saying? Like this self-hate. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? My
Mhm.
little girl, my little girl, I see her when I see her in the morning, trying to pick her up to take her to the store, and I just like, oh, you're so beautiful. How you get so beautiful? She'll say, I don't know. I just woke up like this. You
Yeah.
see the self-esteem though? You
Exactly.
see it? It's
Yeah.
working. It's working. You know what I'm saying? So I enforce it in her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hook or crook. She don't know, but daddy's always like, you know what I'm saying? And her could be all over her head, and I just be like, "You are just so beautiful. How do you do it?" She's like, "I don't know. I just woke up like this." you
Yeah.
know, you know what I'm saying?
I
Just,
love that,
just
man.
yeah, man. So, you know, just a part of my that's a part of my agenda
Mhm.
to I aspire to inspire before I expire. I read that. So that's
Mm.
yeah,
Whew.
yeah.
Bars.
Hmm.
Bars, brother. And wow, man, that's a great story, man. And that's a lesson for all of us, brother, because like you said, if it's a black agenda, African Americans here in this country, then why don't you have on clothing that represents us, that comes from one of us?
Yeah.
And that goes into my, like, what I want to ask you as well, because when we talk about the youth, because my co-host Kayode is not here, but he always, he works with the youth, I work with the youth, and you
Mm.
being a father, and you working with youth, man, how important is that for you to make sure that they feel like they have those options that they can achieve, or to be able to navigate a lot of the challenges and obstacles, man, that they go through, like with
Is
society, imagery, and everything.
Chinese proverb says one generation plants the tree so the next generation can get the shade. That's
Mm,
um that's business. I like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's very important because you know, every child, if a child is 6 years old, 9 times out of 10, they're looking up to you. So they're gonna look up to you regardless. You see what I'm saying? So we got to be very aware. And I want to be able to, give um, our children options and create some cushion. So
Mhm.
if my daughter or your son or your daughter, whatever, says, "Hey man, I want to start my own couture line," you know, we
Mhm.
are already have a template. I cut down so many, like when people ask me, "Hey man, about logos or
Mhm.
businesses or selling a product or a service," because I have both. I have both. I understand it, and it's the same language. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If you're all of it is the same. You either selling a product or a service, so it all depends on. Somebody was thinking would be like, you know what, I'm gonna cut down this tree and we're going to chisel it and make millions of them. And we're going to
Mhm.
call them toothpicks and we're going to sell them. We're going to sell them in restaurants and we're going to sell them in grocery stores. And people sell toothpicks from
Mhm.
a tree because everything around you was a thought first. And you either produced it or purchased it. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a fact. You know what I'm saying? That paint behind you, somebody created the paint. They thought of it and they sold it to you. You know what I'm saying? Unless you made the paint. But I'm just saying.
Right, right.
So
I didn't
being able to, yeah. So imagine if your children had that cushion to be like, well, I want to work for my dad, or I want to work for Mr. Coleman, or I want to, start my own wedding service. I want to be a
make.
caterer. They have the cushion. We already planted the tree so they
Yeah.
can get the shade. So that's very important, man. And I think it's very insulting that um, when I see parents and children standing in front of stores and Walmart trying to bury their loved ones because they didn't have life insurance. You know how
Mm.
cheap life insurance is? The policy for $100,000 a year is like less than $100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what nobody's teaching it. These quote unquote leaders are people that are in front of hundreds of black people aren't, they should enforce that. I don't think that should just be an option, life insurance. I think that should be like enforced. Like you
Yeah.
gotta go to school. I'll be like, you gotta have life insurance. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because nothing is guaranteed in life but death.
Mm.
So why not? Why there should be like a, a, a stamped policy like, hey, you know, get this life insurance. But a lot of times, man, we don't understand it. We don't even teach it. Don't even care to teach it.
Wow.
So that's one of my things. That's what's one of our biggest things that we teach in the 901 union. We make sure everybody has a policy.
Nice. Nice.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, I as an educator, my co-host Kayode as an educator to some extent, along with entrepreneurship, we're big on learning, growing, especially on this platform as well. Hence why we started it. Man, you mentioned about school, and when we talk about school and education, I mentioned to you a while ago that I reread The Miseducation of the Negro by Dr. Carter G. Woodson,
Hmm.
and a lot of the concepts that he talked about in the book, you have definitely mentioned in some of your posts and some of the things I've seen you do, and even your collective as a whole. How important is education to us, man? Like being a business person, uh, being an activist, so-called activist. How is important that you as far as like in what you do with your decisions?
I say it's very important, especially being properly positioned and taught. Because a lot of times, man, we don't have a lot of pros in front of us. And
Mhm.
uh, most of the time they teach you to just be a consumer, especially black people. Like, like um, why isn't the barbershop talk? It's like um, the subject matter of Elon Musk. Like, I'm gonna make a car, right? Like, why don't black people feel like they can create their own car or create a
Mhm.
bicycle? Like, why is it that what the barbershop talk is always sports, rappers, um, you know, like, never ownership or like, talking about, Marcus Lemonis. founders
Mhm.
and stuff like that. It's more so like, yeah, look what we had on, and so again, I'm always properly. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I'm first generation, so I'm not fourth generation or or even second
Right.
generation. I'm the first of, whatever. But so I don't even have time. Like I remember Pop was doing the interview. He was like, "Man, I don't even have time to be young. I wasn't nothing left for me." You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So nobody left nothing for me, and I just think that's so insulting that we don't have movie theaters and grocery stores, like basic things that was left for us to run and carry on in our family's name. Most Black people, when they do start a business, they first generation, so they trying to figure it out from you
Mhm.
know from properly uh, having your tax statements and LLCs and C corps and learning these things and how does it all work together? What you got to have the paperwork in place, or somebody in front of you to have the paper. Like we're not walking to these things. So I rather attack. I don't want to attack no political problem without having our economics intact first. I just
Mhm.
think that's ass backwards because nobody's listening to you. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to be part of a political party and you don't have any um, any financial backing. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm like Dr. Claude Anderson. We should have our own party. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about Democrats. I don't care about, what I'm saying, nothing. We just got our own party, and
Mhm.
whatever works for us that benefits our culture, then that's who, because again, it's no different from you going to the store. You know what I'm saying, man? I want to get this toothbrush. I'm gonna give you my money because I need this toothbrush. It
Mhm.
services me. I need it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, man, you have a lot of Republicans and them Black people, they think they are, you know what I'm saying? And they're just casting away votes and nobody's doing anything for them. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
just, we like to feel good versus being good.
Mm.
I want to be good. And
Mhm.
if I'm being good, then I'm gonna feel good. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I hope I'm not saying too much.
No,
But
no, brother. This is what the platform is say as much as you need to say. You know what I'm
I
saying?
got you. Yeah.
Say as much as you need
So
to
yeah,
say.
so
And
that kind of education is very important. Like, and another thing I think,
mhm.
first and foremost, Black people, um, we need to learn where we're from
Mhm.
culturally, the bloodline, to see
Yeah.
why we do the things we do. Because for the most part, we're mimicking somebody else's culture in America. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is coming from a culture. So even if they dress quote unquote, this is not hip hop, this is just a hoodie, but they'll say it's hip hop or whatever.
Mhm.
Once if they get married or if it's an event, they put on their uniform. The Asian man puts on the Asian robe and whatever the thread count or however the cut is. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
The Arab man puts on his, kilt and whatever when they're celebrating or doing their, ceremonies. But um, if we celebrate anything, what are we putting on? We're putting on Ralph Lauren. We're putting on we praise Dior. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
they never praise us, never will. You know, I would prefer. I would honor if we was wearing FUBU. If everybody's like, "Yo, FUBU, that's our Ralph Lauren." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
but when you don't value yourself and you don't know where you come from, you'll say, "Ah, man, it's out of style." It's self hate. You know what I'm saying? The jeans Lee's, Lee. Remember those? Not Levi's. Lee's were before Levi's. Don't people still wear them? Aren't they still around? Relevant? You see
They
what I'm
are.
saying? Still relevant to this day.
Yeah.
And culturally they wear it. They like, yeah, that's our thing. You see what I'm saying? But we can have a Black brand, Sean John, Rockaware, whatever. I mean, it's
Mhm.
outdated. We don't stand on. We don't. That's self hate. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I wear FUBU. Anytime I see some FUBU anywhere, I don't care if it's in Walmart, whatever, I'm
Mhm.
collecting it. You know what I'm saying? I'm collecting. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of a cool. I like a cool. Even though I'll
Cool.
never see Ti wearing it, I just think it's crazy. Like this, this is
Yeah.
yours. But It's just again self-hate. So I would start off with educating the child at home to be like, hey, this is where we come from. This is who we are. We're Aboriginal people. So just like with my daughter, I'm pumping it in her. Man, you are so beautiful. How do you get that beautiful? I don't know, Dad. I just woke up like this. You know what I'm saying? You see them? You see what I'm building?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Indeed. Oof. Drop some gems, Brethren. Drop some gems. We have one of our listeners, Tonette Delk. She said, it's not that we're first generation. That's not it. We have businesses in our families and communities that were Black owned. Think about the Reconstruction period. We had to have Black owned everything, and we did. Right.
Right. Well, is she saying? I'm saying, is she talking like Tulsa experiment or Black Wall Street? Is she kind of like referencing that?
Yes.
You know,
Like
because yeah. Well, I'm saying legacy. I'm not negating that it never happened. I'm just saying we don't have. I'm gonna use simple things that we can kind of catch on to. I'm not gonna be like Ferragamo and the family. We don't have like a Gucci or a Polo. You know, look at the mindset. You know, look at the mentality when they search for purses or whatever. They're not looking for Black-owned brands, and that's called an embedded self-esteem. You see what I'm saying? It's embedded. So we are first generation if we're starting something from scratch. If it's not passed, if I'm not carrying the name, if I'm not carrying the company, you know, second generation is when I die and my daughter or your son is carrying Coleman and Neal, this second generation. So until then, if it doesn't exist, if it isn't a carry-on from a corner store or whatever, it's still first generation. Every time you start over, it's first generation. If I die and my daughter starts another brand, that's back to first, that's going backwards. It's first generation again. You see what I'm saying? That's not the second generation. She might have the business ethics or the
right.
teaching.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but as far as in like we have to have like we should have our own flag. And when I say flag, I'm not talking about the flag that the American flag. I'm just saying this is what we do. This is what we wear versus dysfunctional behavior, civil war. We call that culture, and that's crazy. We champion dysfunctional behavior in songs that call you bitches and hoes, and we call that culture. We call killing each other culture. Like if a cop kills you or kills a Black man or whatever, oh man, it's an outbreak. But in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Like they killing each other like 3 people a day, and we corn it culture. That's craziness. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just talking about, but I'm basically on the economical side. Because if we get the economics right, people with jobs don't kill. People that get money ain't got time. You're too tired. Yeah, you got too much to lose. It's the people that don't have these options that do that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. If I nobody wants to be a crook or a killer. Okay. For the most part, I'm just saying the average person. You know what I'm saying? Even the person that's locked up in jail. If you give them the option to be like, hey, I'm gonna give you the option and set you up. This is what you're going to be set up with. You're going to be okay. We have this much amount of money, car, get your license right or whatever. They're not going to jeopardize it by trying to rob a damn bank. You see what I'm saying? But when the options are either you're selling crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot, you can kind of, dictate the ending of this movie. You see what I'm saying? But positive plus positive equals positive. You see what I'm saying? Not negative minus positive. You see what I'm saying? Or positive plus negative. You see what I'm saying? No. If all the options I present are positive, if I say, hey, classroom, I'm going to give you the option to intern with me. You can intern as a wedding planner, caterer, lawn service, clothes designer, entertainment, a movie, entertainment or whatever, right? But you got to pick one. I never brought up either you're selling crack rock or you got a wicked jump. You see what I'm saying? So they
Mm-hmm.
have nothing but pros in front of them. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? I was talking to this guy. He was like, man, yeah, man, I think I'm about to quit my job, man, with my dad and work for my uncle. You see what I'm saying? That was
Mm.
his conversation with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm beefing with my dad, man. I can't, we're not seeing eye to eye. I just think I'm just going to work for my uncle. You see the options?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So and we can do that. First, we have to be properly educated. We got to
Mm-hmm.
love thyself. Can't be civil war. We can't even believe in civil war. Me and you, like, I would never get in the ring with you. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you set the match up, I'm never getting in the ring. I'm like,
Mm.
that's my brother. I can't fight myself.
Right.
That's
Oof.
me. Yeah, I
Oof.
ain't gonna fight myself. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I'm never beefing or trying to have civil war with anything or any sister or brother that looks like me. Nah, hell nah. I can't afford it. Costs too much. I want to ally. I want to build together. Let's figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's live in harmony. I want to live in a gated community with us. We run in the stores and the gas stations, and we got 10-story buildings, you know, and it's civil. It can happen. Yeah, people do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just what's promoted on us because we're not the narrators. We don't control the narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and they make us look like we can't have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? They just, oh
Right.
man, this is what, and we help them with all this dysfunctional music and promote it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And whew, brother, you rapping. Yo, like, and this is why I had you on here, man, because again, like, as a fellow brother, I'm based in New York, you're based in Memphis, but it's the same mindset, man. And
mhm.
you're speaking truth. It's like, right, if we're of the same culture, man, we're the same people coming from the African, diaspora, right, from the continent originally. You're not my adversary, you're my ally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I see myself as an ally, right? So
Mhm.
as I see myself, like you said, love self, as I see myself, I see my brother and my sister. So that has been bred, or I don't even like to use bred, but that has been um, educated out of us, to say, right, by force, right? And I think that's
Mhm.
what Annette was kind of referring to as well. Like, we have these things, and it's not. It is first generation, but we're picking it back up because we had it, but like you said, we lost it somewhere, and now brothers like you and sisters and other brothers you work with are picking it back up. We're picking it back up. Who are some of your influences, man? Like, who, like, even though you for your particular endeavors, you're first gen, but like, who are some of your people you admire in reference to this?
Dr. Claude Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
people like you, that's for
Mm-hmm.
the culture.
Thanks, brother.
Um,
Thank you.
I love Obama. I like Trump. He's a
Mm,
businessman. He's not, yeah, I'm a fan of Trump.
mm,
Yeah, because um, he's good in business. And just listen to his motivation speaking on YouTube. Just listen to it. A lot of people just see color. I'm a fan of Marcus Lemonis. He inspired me. Tupac Shakur. Um, that's my favorite of all because he did so much with little time.
mm-hmm.
We only got 4 years of his life mathematically. That's what I'm
Mm,
saying. Like he died a young man, 24.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we only got 4 years of his life publicly. Look what he did in 4 years. Now anybody else dies at 24, that I just named. We
Mm-hmm.
don't need they don't exist. From Martin Luther King to Donald Trump to Obama, if they die at 24, Michael Jordan, whoever, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No, we still talk about Tupac as if he was here a year ago. He's been dead for 20 years now, I think. You see
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
96 years. So yeah,
Well, I saw a
2006.
magazine. It was like a 20-year anniversary or
Yeah,
something
yeah, 20
in the
plus.
store.
20 plus. This
Yeah,
is-
that's what I'm saying. And like
Yeah,
when people talk about, oh man, the greatest rapper, they still bring his name up.
definitely. Yeah.
That's 20 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but that's so and I'm looking at things like that. Like, look what kind of impact these people had. But Tupac is my favorite because we only got 4 years of his life. It seems like we got 30, don't it?
It
You know
does.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
It does.
And I saw it in real time. I saw
Right.
it.
Right. We
I
saw,
saw it
yes.
in
Yeah,
real time. You know what
we
I'm
saw
saying?
it in real
Yeah.
time.
I'm a fan of Kanye. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people. No, a lot of people.
Okay, new Kanye.
No. He's been the same. He's just been elevated. Like his first album was called College Dropout, right?
Right.
And then just look at, he's still the same Kanye. If you can listen to the College Dropout right now, it's still relevant to you. Just watching, because they say that about Pop. He was
Right.
just a person. See, we're not getting MC Hammer or these names like Dougie Fresh, no pun intended.
Right.
We're getting Tupac Shakur. That's his name. We're getting Kanye West. That's his name. That's not a stage name. That's his actual name. So you're seeing these people in real time expressing themselves. You're not the same way every day. Nobody wakes up the same way every day.
Right.
So if you had to write or document yourself every day, whether if it was music or whatever, hopefully the book changes as you grow. The book should grow. The literature, you should be a better writer or whatever. You know, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. Even in business, I'm thinking different. I'm like, oh, okay. I got it. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, I was just doing weddings. Now I got 5 companies. And I'm saying, oh, man, all business is the same. It's either a product or a service. 10 years ago, I wasn't saying it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. So this is why when people come to me with ideas, I know how to turn influence into income. A lot of people don't. They don't know how to turn influence into income. And it's simple. It's simple. It's just sacrifice, you know, and can't have pride, a lot of pride. It's cool to have dignity, but can't have a lot of pride when it comes to promoting and marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, but thank you for sharing that, because those are those principles, that not only create businesses, but it creates, evolution in the person. And that's a great point you mentioned with Tupac Shakur and Kanye West. Those are their names, right?
Yeah, that you watching these people express themselves on microphones and or on TV. They, so you're watching the real, like if I ask you right now, has Dame changed? Ain't Dame the same? That's the same Dame.
And I was gonna get into that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So this Dame Dash, this him. You know what I'm saying?
That's all Dame.
So you're and just from watching backstage, or even when first time I saw Dame Dash speak, I felt him, and you can play any one of his interviews. It's the same Dame. He's always like, forward thinking, believing in us. Why can't we do our own thing? And that's the person that gave Kanye West a chance. So if we took away Dame, we have no Kanye.
And to just to interject with Dame, man, in family, he met Dame. He sat down, you talked with Dame.
Yeah.
And I think Dame approach. I think Dame is. I've always respected him as far as his, like you said, his forward thinking, his ownership, his resolve to own what we create. But I think his approach, the way he was coming off early on, is what turned people off, because it felt very like accusatory and very very aggressive, as some people say, right? But they
did Ye the same way. Well, yeah, when I met him, I met him, had a beautiful conversation. I can post the video up from where that was cut, but he was more into the movie. He was interested. I put the link. You can watch it, and we had it wasn't any pushback. It was more so he was interested, just like you. We was having a conversation about economics, and he would ask me questions on how I did things, and I can explain it. That with the indie film night, I was telling him how I created the indie film night. But think about this: when you have people like that, like Ye or Dame, like these people are forward thinkers. It gets frustrating when you're trying to bring the future into now. Think about it. Look at Kanye. First, we was calling him crazy. Oh, he's crazy, and he was like talking about the Medici family. He been there. You're talking to somebody like, imagine somebody going to the future and coming back, and then he's explaining it. You're gonna say, "Oh, you crazy." Now he's 10 billion up, so you can't call somebody that's, since black people like to put money over morals. He's 10 billion up. So now he's like, I had the son Hove, and I had to put all of them on the call and be like, all of y'all put together ain't got more money than me. So y'all gonna listen to what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you want to talk about the capital, but you can't be crazy and you got $10 billion in your account,
Mm-hmm.
or you worth $10 billion. It just doesn't add up. So now what do we? Now everybody's listening to him, and then if you listen to him, he's just for the culture. That's
Yeah.
it. Dame is. It's just those people. It wasn't any pushback with me and Dame because I think we was on the same wavelength. But when you're trying to help the people you're fighting with, it gets frustrating. I deal with it all the time. I'm trying to help the sheep. They biting me. you
Right.
know. But in the end, they always see what I'm saying. It's just that I'm like 10 years later. That's all I was saying. I was saying it 10 years ago. You
Yeah.
know. But it gets frustrating when you're 10 years ahead of the curve. When you're ahead of the curve and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
tell people, yo, this is the way to go. Don't, it gets frustrating when you're already
Yeah.
there. I swear it does. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what you're saying, brother, speaks volumes because let's be real here. When it's coming from the body and from the voice box of somebody who's black, you know, whether it be man or woman, people, even our own people, unfortunately, look at it sideways because we've been, like I said, going back to education, we've been educated to look towards, no distant Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or what's another Jeff Bezos. They are
Because we don't have any mottos, right?
yeah,
Imagine if we had, um, you notice the first person I said was Dr. Claude Anderson.
right.
So, and a lot of people don't even know, like, if I had to pick one person, it would be Dr. Claude Anderson. If they say, well,
Hmm.
you can only have one hero or one person you could talk to or meet, right? Um, man, him and Dame though, it's kind of neck and neck, but I think I would lean toward Dr. Claude Anderson because
Hmm.
he's been there for so long. You know what I'm saying? And that's as much as I love Malcolm and Martin and Marcus Garvey, he is the top. I think, and then he's still here.
Hmm.
He's still alive. And
Right.
man, I would love to meet him and have this conversation and study up under him because I mean he's on point. I shared one of his posts today, man. I love that brother, man, and um, he's on point
Yeah.
economically. He's more
Yeah.
into the economic side of it,
Definitely.
versus you know taking a broke approach, trying to. You can't fight a capitalistic society, America, with how you feel. It's all about, man, what you can do
Hmm.
for this economy. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
dealing with a mobster. He was like, "I want the money. I don't care about how you feel or whatever. You got the money. You know what I'm saying? You got my money. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care about your daughter. I don't care about and that's America. It's a capitalistic
Mhm.
society.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying that you have to be like greedy or whatever. I just say be prepared, be able to contribute. Don't be a complainer, be a contributor. Okay.
Mhm.
So a lot of times complaining is, oh, we need justice, no peace. I'm saying, okay, look, you got all these people on this street. Okay, look, let's tally our money together and build our own neighborhood, our own grocery stores, whatever. Let's do some business with some vendors, get ourselves together, and have our own police department, have our own, and we can govern ourselves just like I
Mhm.
do at home. I
Mhm.
govern myself. Everybody does that in their house. Don't you govern yourself or the place you live? Right.
Right.
So why can't we just come together as a collective, buy some buildings and blocks and land, and just start our own thing? But a lot of times, man, um, when it comes to change like that, you have to change, and a lot of people don't want to change. They
Change.
just want to complain. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, brother. Yeah, man. Family, as you can tell, definitely, we're getting into it, and this brother's breaking it down like I know he was, like I know he's gonna do. And Sister Toinette, gave another example in reference of just with the dynamics of her family, I believe, going to 1800s, and having these people in her family that have done things, but just not been fully aware, generationally speaking. And I agree with that, and basically we all agree with that here. Just like the remembering of, because I think you and I talked about it too, Del. One was like what we're creating is new in this time frame of current day, but it's part of that, like you said, legacy. It's part of the legacies that some of us may not even know that we're contributing to in our own personal families, or just in the grand scheme of Black folks achieving and creating in this country. So I want to talk about something you had mentioned as well, like with Dane, with the economics and everything. People think that economics has to be like, you're right, you have to be greedy in order to be able to be functional. And it's like, no, you were basically just taking our own energies like we already have. Like you said, we go to the store, we buy a toothbrush, we buy a car, we buy sneakers. It's just like, take that same energy and just put it back into self. Just, you know what you like, and that's why I want to talk about briefly Coleman and Neal. And how you came to that conclusion, starting your own fashion, because a lot of people, like you said, like you mentioned earlier, like Dapper Dan. I'm in New York, I'm in Harlem, so Dapper Dan is exactly what you're talking about. He created his own fashion. He worked, like Gucci is working with him. He's not working with Gucci. They came and hollered at him, and he talks about that in his book. So that's a great read if you want to get more into that, Dapper Dan's autobiography. But yeah, could you talk about like just the whole creation and idea and just the process, man, of quality, and in a misconception. Well, I said a misconception of quality coming from
about Coleman and Neal.
Yeah, Coleman and Neal, and just fashion brands, from us.
Okay. Okay. Well, how we came up with the brand? First, this is a brand in Memphis. I don't want to say the name because the person might be watching. I don't want to make them feel a way about it. But we was trying to invest into it and be like, hey man, let's partner up. And he was cool with the deal at first, but the day we was gonna sign, he was just like, nah, man, I guess I'm gonna just do me, whatever. And I was just like, man, me and my partner, before we were Coleman and Neal, I was like, man, we don't know who you talked to last night, but we're the only ones that want to invest into it. We want to be like 50-50 investors. He was going to get 50%, and me and my partner, which is Neal, was going to split 25, 50%. Okay. But he didn't see it or whatever. Again, we're not coming from that background of business. Paperwork don't lie. It ain't like we was trying to cheat him out of anything. He was the paperwork reads, man, this is it. You know what I'm saying? We was just going to be investors, and we're going to get 50% of it. Mm-hmm. And then, so, my partner was, even though my son had talked about it earlier about starting a clothing line, my partner was like, man, let's just do us. And he was like, man, Coleman and Neal. And I wrote it down, and it felt like Dolce and Gabbana when I wrote it. And and I started doing proper research, looking for, it felt couture and upscale when you hear it, Coleman and Neal. It doesn't sound like, no pun intended, a cool or FUBU. It just doesn't ring like that. It's just, when you hear Ferragamo, when you hear Gucci, when you hear, Michael Kors, when you hear Vera Wang, when you hear Ralph Lauren, you're hearing names. Names is legacy. At the end of the day, your name is a legacy. So the ring of it just, and then when I started doing research, looking up under the hood, all the upscale lines were names. It was never like a slogan. You rarely get a slogan. Slogans are like the Grind House, right, or a Cool. That's not a name. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a slogan kind of. So when you say names like Vera Wang, Brooks Brothers, and I started doing research, studying these families and people, come to find out they all know each other. Ralph Lauren, as a kid, used to work for the Brooks Brothers. Vera Wang used to work for Ralph Lauren, which knows Michael Kors. That's associated with Tom Ford. They all know each other. Black people, we don't do that for some reason. We're taught to find you're the op. We're taught to make music about killing nothing but black people, and praising Dior, Versace. Jay-Z is the owner of Rockaware, but has a song called Tom Ford. You see what I'm saying? Yes, so again, we're going right back to self-hate. And if you don't know who you are, where you're from, you can't have full self-esteem because you're fishing. You see what I'm saying? But when you find out where you're from, you start, oh man, this is why I like chicken and jewelry and why I'm always on beat, you know, why this sun feel good to me, why I like to dress and, you know, because it's like, man, black people that we're coin on making it popular, but we won't make ourselves popular. You know what I'm saying? Look how we did Timberlands. Timberlands had already been around, but when the Wu-Tang brought the different colors and you know, they was like, all right, cool, let's make some different colors. And then when they stopped rocking Timberlands, right, those colors, Timberland went right back to selling them to the people that build houses and whatever. Like, cool. So they just made us some more capital. Like, thanks. You know what I'm saying? And we do that with Tommy Hilfiger. You know, buying Gucci to burn it. No, buy Coleman and Neil. Then you can burn it. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I need the money. Like you know what I'm saying? Like do that.
Keep it. Hold it.
Yeah.
It's priceless. Man. Like
I remember a couple of years ago, they did a fashion show, and my homeboy said, Neil always say, man, in 20 more years, man, black people will be rocking nooses and saying that's fashion. And they almost got away with it. Remember Gucci did about 3 years ago? They was walking, and then we was like, that's a noose.
Right.
And then you had Snoop, T.I. Oh man, yeah, well, let's ban Gucci. But look on their pages right now. They're back wearing it. So we don't stand on anything. You know why we don't stand on anything? Because we don't know we don't know where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's embedded in me. I know where I'm from, so I just can't turn it off. I can't take these magic glasses off. I can't. You know, I just can't. You know, so I don't just wear Coleman in there. I wear any lifestyle. My homeboy, I wear our clothes, black. You know what I'm saying? I'm Nina Simone black.
Right.
I love black people.
Yes,
I love
sir.
it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I do too. I love what
Come on with it.
I love black people who love black people. You know what I'm saying?
I do, man.
Like, you know what I mean?
I do.
That.
No pun intended. I love all people.
For sure.
Black.
For
you know
sure.
What I'm saying? So just like the Asian man loves the Asian man.
Right.
You're supposed to.
As they should. Like I expect you to. Right. My
tigers like tigers.
Right.
Right. I gotta do it.
We have to, like you said, love stuff. I have to know what love is first before I can be able to share that out with other people. Like I can't be loving somebody else and I don't even know self. Like that's backwards.
That's it. That's what it is.
You were talking about, and I mentioned earlier, is like we have to be able to be on that. And again, America, and this is just my opinion, family. What you were mentioning, Dellguan, America always creates those verses going on. And yeah, no diss to
I hate that word.
No diss to I like the versus series, so I'm not talking about them. So no, don't nobody try to send in a video. This dude talk. No, I'm saying the ideology and the mentality of verses, because America always kind of creates this anti. It's like, okay, the hero and anti-hero. You know, the Coke versus Pepsi. It's like it's this contention always where it's like I always got to have an enemy, and sometimes it's not. That's not the case. It's just there's challenges, there's obstacles, or there's just other. You know what I'm saying? It's just other. It's like you said, you creating Coleman and Neil doesn't just the other brother and sister from their own fashion line. It's just like, hey, if you feel like a Coleman Neil today, go buy my stuff. If you feel like a cool, or if you feel like the other brother you mentioned, the lifestyle brand, hey,
lifestyle,
go for it. It's enough.
Yeah,
it's enough.
That word, like, and in hindsight, in America, it ain't even real. Like the verse, as far as in like corporate, you know what I'm saying? You got Coca-Cola, Sprite, root beer, Sunkist. They're not competing with each other because that's under the Coca-Cola umbrella. That's all of those are Coke products. You got, again, Vera Wang, Ralph Lauren. She used to work for Ralph Lauren. The Brooks Brothers, he used to work for them. We think they're competing when we like, my God, I'm rocking this Versace. They all know each other. They make you think that. They're collaborating. But when it's me and you, we put in the word versus, we literally think I'm not wearing You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
D Mill stuff. I'm not. I'm competing. I'm his competitor.
Right.
Look, black people. I don't compete with black people. I collab with black people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I provide services for black people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
never going to compete with a black person ever. You can hold this interview forever for the rest of your life. If I ain't never said that on an interview. You know, I've been
Mm-hmm.
interviewed a lot. I'm never competing with a black person. So I'm never getting in the ring. So I don't care if they diss me, if they don't like whatever, that's cool. I just like, man, they sick. They don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
a body of love. I'm not competing with them. You know, my competitor is the marketplace. I want to be in that ring. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I want us to have our own stadiums and our own uh, leagues and basketball leagues and app. You know, we're creating apps and man, think about that, man. You know, like having a tech team and things like that. Like, that's not the barbershop talk. Like,
Right.
I just made this new app. It's called Uber, right? And you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
can either drive or get picked up or however. You can either be the passenger or be the person that's driving. Like, what? That's not our conversation. It's more so like, man, look at them busted ass shoes you're wearing at crack. You know what I'm saying? Playing a dozen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we trying to
Oh
down each
man.
other to make ourselves feel better. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
we gotta, man, it's whack juice, man. It's
it
whack.
is.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, and
So
and and I want to go into like a more of a serious topic because you mentioned like the barbershop talk, and
mhm.
I agree with you, sis. Indeed, that doesn't mean just because I'm pro-black doesn't mean I'm not anti everyone else. Exactly,
Right.
exactly, Tony. So I want to go into a little bit of barbershop talk, man. This is something that you and I talked about recently, and it's dealing with the city of Memphis and the killing of the brother Young Dolph. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And we talked about hip hop, culture as it's being presented, and brother like Young Dolph, the negative aspect of his getting killed and the effect it has or has had on Memphis, man. Could you give us some insight on that, man? Because it really saddened me, man. Because I'm not even a huge fan of the brother, but I did respect the brother's grind and what he was doing as far as just his own career in life, of his
Hmm.
investment and just his music. But could you give us
Yeah.
some insight, man, on like how you feel like that affected everything and just the imagery of hip hop and just certain things we had talked about.
Like I was telling you, the narrative never changed. I went live about it, and I was like, man, you either gonna be Detroit Red or Malcolm X. You see what I'm
Mm,
saying? And that's just what
mm,
it is. You can't be both. You know. And again, like I was telling you, we was on the phone. We chop it up,
yeah.
and I was just like, man, I'm telling my mom about the live I was talking about, and I was just talking about Detroit Red, and I would mention Malcolm X, and then in the conversation at times she was like, well, who is Detroit Red? And I was like, there it is. See,
Hmm.
the narrative changed. You see, so Young Dolph narrative never changed. Yeah, he was a family man and he did, things in the community, but the narrative never changed. So
Mm,
that doesn't matter. You can't be like, your narrative can't be I'm a gangster to the consumer, but in your house you're a family guy. It doesn't
hmm.
work like that. You know what I'm saying? It might work in your household, but once you step out, you see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And how he was killed and gunned down. That's the narrative. That's what they preach. That's what they talk about in the music. We're the black people would make. We're the only ones that make music talking about killing each other, disrespecting our women. You don't hear, again, like I was telling you, we don't. There's not one uh, Cardi B that's a Jew. We have a Jew Cardi B. We don't have a Jew NBA young boy. They'll sell it to us, but they don't play that in their culture. They don't even allow it. They don't even allow it. We're the only
Hmm.
ones that try to compromise and try to dictate when the truth is relevant according to how you feel about the person. But it
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. This shirt is green every day. Not because I woke up today and was like, today I feel like it should be turquoise because I identify it as turquoise. You see what
Hmm.
I'm saying? I can't wake up and be like, so, again, black people gotta, we big on that. Well, I feel, yeah, but the narrative never changed. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish if he could if we could wake up Young Dolph right now and say, hey man, look, this is your second chance. You can come
Hmm.
back as Young Dolph, but you're gonna die the same way, or you're gonna be stone broke and you're gonna live to 99 years old and with your kids or whatever. I can
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you he'll be like, yo, fuck that rap life. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be stone broke with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
you got a father, man. You know, his kids had to watch him die like that, man. He was hanging out of the window. We saw it. He was hanging out of the window, shot. You know, that's history. You know what I'm saying? That's not, I don't want that to be my legacy, man. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, again, man, you can't be, um, oh man, you have to make a choice. You either Detroit Red, you either die as Detroit Red or live forever as Malcolm X. You have to make a choice. You can't be both. So, when you preaching about how, you know, motherfuckers that shot at you 99 times and still didn't miss 999 or whatever, and you're taunting these people that are trying to kill you. These are facts. This is not me making stuff up. You know what I'm saying? These are facts. These are recorded records, videos, and you ain't got shot in the arm because you're taunting. You know what I'm saying? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep crying wolf. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when you got that kind of influence and capital, you can settle beef easy. You know, I could settle if there's a problem between me and you, and it got to the point where it was aggressive. You know, I have enough influence that we could set this meeting up, have a sit down, eat together, and just find out what the problem. You got to talk about it anyways. You still have to talk about it. So before you go that route, even the people that killed young Dolph has a court date.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The police didn't run up on him and just kill him or whatever because, hey, you killed Dolph or whatever. So they still got to talk about it. So this could have been settled before this. You know what I'm saying? Whoever he had a problem with or whatever, when you got that kind of influence and capital, you can always have a sit down. You know what I'm saying? If you so gangster and mobster or whatever, have a sit down at your restaurant or whoever's restaurant and call a truce and say, man, what do I owe you? Oh, I don't want this to get ugly. We both want to raise our kids. What do we? And it's always a conversation. It's always a misunderstanding on what I feel. That's what it is, you know. Or if you owe me some money, just pay me my money or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, you didn't cut my grass. This is why I'm bashing you on Facebook. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you 2 cuts on me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner. Everybody happy. You know? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, so Snooty Y just got shot yesterday. Now he's fighting for his life in Texas. And he's from Memphis. Another Memphis rapper that was with Yo Gotti or whatever. So, man, it's got to stop. But the narrative has to change. We got to quit. And it ain't, we can't keep blaming the white man. No. We're making these records. You said we're choosing. You choose your choices. You have 100% control of your choices. You have zero control of your consequences. You control your choices. You do not control your consequences. So just think about that, you know. So we can change these narratives. We have enough power. It's enough of us buying power, especially to create our own information station where we can put out nothing but prose. Like this is we're having an intellectual conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're just having a conversation saying, hey man, this is the problem. What do we need to do to solve it? You know?
Indeed. Oof. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Because again, people, it's becoming so commonplace now that people are just like, oh, another rapper, another brother, whether it be drill or Atlanta, Memphis, Houston, New York, whatever, man. It's just these are things that were existing when we were coming up, when Pac was out and Biggie was out, but it's now becoming like more straightforward in the music. And again, family, we're not blaming the music, but like Brother Dellguan is saying, it's the mentality behind it. It's these practices that aren't serving us. Like you said, can't be Detroit Red and Malcolm X. You got to choose one. And I think you and I even talked about it. Was like Malcolm X, and people say, well, he still got killed, but like Dellguan said, the legacy though. No one's talking about Detroit Red. They talking about Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And he's like you talked about Pac. We talk about Brother Malcolm like he left yesterday.
Correct. Right.
About
Right.
Dr. King, like he left yesterday. Fannie Lou Hamer, thank goodness they finally did a documentary on her. I gotta watch it, so definitely family check that out. The Honorable Fannie Lou Hamer, we talking about her, bring her name back up like she left yesterday because of the legacy,
Right.
man. Sacrifice, you know?
Right. Right. Because even when you think of Detroit Red, you have to think of that. You have to bring that up. You have to be like, yeah, remember Detroit Red? Malcolm. You have to. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the legacy is Malcolm. The positive person Malcolm X. And another thing that's kind of like distasteful and sad is, man, you could play a Malcolm X speech today and it's current today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Malcolm been dead for a minute, but you could play one of his speeches right now and it's still
Mm-hmm.
relevant. And that's just letting you know right there how backwards we're going.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I like Dr. Claude Anderson and, talking about, man, basically really controlling the narrative, man. Because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these black kids and people are only making this dysfunctional music because they're getting capital. If they weren't making no money from it, remember everybody used to do R&B. Remember everybody had an R&B group. Remember that?
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Drew
Yeah.
Hill, it was so many, because that's what that it was about the paper. But
Right.
when they start when like I always say, Dolores Tucker was right. Dolores Tucker was right.
Mm-hmm.
They silenced her. Imagine, man, if it was no NWA, no Snoop, no all the dysfunctional shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't even talk about love no more. All the
Mm-hmm.
people that was kind of projecting love, whatever, that's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have no OJs, and I'm not saying that they're not around, but I'm
Right.
just saying like the relevancy. Like the kids aren't mimicking, the Temptations and or just love, period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just but Pac said you're gonna have a race of babies that hate the ladies that make the babies. Look at it now. Most of the rap videos are just dudes, with guns. Not even a
Right.
female. Remember back in the day, you used to have to have a girl that was dancing. It was like, you know what I'm saying? You're jiggling,
Right.
baby. Go ahead. It was something, yet
Yeah.
now it's like a group of young boys in their mama living room with Dracos.
Right. Right.
So
Which
we
which would
failed.
which
That
I,
means we failed. That's what it
yeah.
means.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because we're not
And
controlling the narrative.
and that's the thing, right? To chime in, people talk about, these young people, these children, these kids. I use the term children. I try not to use the term kids
They
because
are.
kids Billy Goat, but they acting like kids, right? They're acting like Billy
Right.
Goat, right? Like little Billy Goat. But I say children. But I say, look, if you think about it, you're saying, all these children, what are we gonna do with them? Well, the children don't raise themselves, but what happened is the children did raise themselves, and this is
Right.
the result of that. This is the result. That's our bad. That's our
Right.
bad. We got to
Right.
take the ownership. Now, is it completely our bad? No, but it is majority our bad because why? These are what? Our children.
Right. And
It's like,
and I'm saying the influencers, like you got to
yes.
blame the Snoops, the Jeezys, the Rick Rosses, because I mean, even if you ask any rapper now and they say go back, well, what inspired you to rap, whatever, they're not gonna mention Wu Tang, they're not gonna mention Common Sense, they're not gonna mention, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna
Mhm.
mention somebody that was before them that taught them how, because if I never introduce you to mac and cheese, you never think of it.
Mhm.
You don't know what it is. You see what I'm saying? So they
Right.
only know what they're introduced to. Like I was telling you right now, you can get um, NBA young boy,
Mhm.
22 years old. 20 years ago he was two. 20 years ago he was 2 years old.
Mhm.
Right. So with that 20-year window, look what developed. That's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah,
It
that's a
is.
learned behavior. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
if you go back in time and take that same 2-year-old and put him in your household, we get a D Mills. You see what I'm saying? Because you and your brother the same. I don't. If your brother had, y'all sound exactly the same, and
Yeah.
we have
Shout
this
out to Big
these
Bro.
man. Are he the oldest?
Yeah, he the oldest. Yeah.
I thought you was the oldest.
Nah, he's the
See
oldest.
what I'm saying? But y'all spirits, man, it's just I again, it's the environment you're looking at it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or if NBA young boy was in my family, you got a
Mhm.
different person that's 22 years old.
Right.
He's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Because uh, the upbringing of, me, my parents, or my parents and me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a learned behavior. He learned that behavior, and then they champion it. That's the crazy part. Nobody's sunning them. Like, hold up, no, we don't do that. Nah, yeah, ain't nobody sunning it. They're championing it. So therefore, we're just creating gremlins. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? At this point, we're just creating gremlins. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to have to be a civil war. We got to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of the idiots, and we got to and we got to we're going to have to charge the ones. That's blood on the ones, the influencers that influenced him. We got to
Mm-hmm.
charge them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if my son go out and does something that's crazy, they looking at me. They gonna, true enough, he gets charged, but they gonna look at me like, yo, where are your parents? You see what I'm saying? When the kids act up in school, they call the parents.
Right.
They ain't calling his friend. They calling the parents. You know. So
That accountability, man. That accountability.
yeah, they got to hold accountability. They
Yeah.
have to.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability. And family, like what we're talking about is like we know that these conditions are not generated by self, by all of us, but we're saying that we're allowing, like you said, we're championing these negative behaviors, and it's
Hmm.
killing us literally. It's doing a huge disservice and disenfranchisement amongst us. And we know we're not the ones that are steady promoting these things, but we have to take the ownership of when we do pick it up and run with it, and we wonder why things are dysfunctional. It's like we're normalizing dysfunction,
Yeah.
and that's not what Dellguan and his collective are about, nor my collective is about here. And of course, we're speaking to the choir, I think, but these are things that have been plaguing us for a long time, and if we don't stand up as people with integrity, it's going to continue. And it's
Yeah.
like where are those people, like as I would
And
say,
they'll be dating your daughter. These are the options. So now my daughter, look at the options. Now I'm not saying that she has to date a rapper or anything like that, but they're here. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Versus having, again, you can ask, ask these young rappers or whatever what chivalry. They couldn't tell you what chivalry. Like define chivalry. You see what
right,
I'm saying? They couldn't even, probably
right,
couldn't tell you or give you a clear example of it. You know, I was talking to my partner Nia yesterday. I was like, it's kind of sickening how they wake up with their families. All these, rappers or whatever, wake up with their families every day, and they'll tell you they'll kill you over their kids or whatever, but they never make any music dedicating 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 the songs to their loved ones, their children.
mm,
They never make any songs to be like,
mm,
you're my best friend, something that I never had. God, I'm so glad. You know what I'm saying? You're my
yeah,
shining star, or dear mama. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand.
man, you are appreciated,
I'm saying. Some say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I'm just, they don't
right,
even make. So how do you wake up? How do you have millions of followers or thousands of followers, and you're not looking at, you seeing, and you see your audience, and they have children just like you do. You
mm-hmm,
never think to be like, let me make a song, to give them some inspiration or give them some hope, or let me plant this tree so they can
mm-hmm,
get some shade. No, it's like fuck them. You know what I'm saying? And
mm-hmm,
I bought this Draco for you, not for uh, Mark Zimmerman. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
They, nah, the op is not the cop. They bought that Draco for you and me. You see what I'm saying? And I just, it's so distasteful, man. At this, and I just think it's disgusting.
yeah,
It's disgusting,
mm,
So,
yeah, yeah, indeed,
uh,
bro. Yeah, bro. I mean,
but
like,
but but I always say,
yeah,
as long as I'm living, change is pending. You know, so
yes, indeed. You said as long as you're living, change is pending.
change is pending.
Yes, sir.
We here.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? It's
Yes,
in actuality, there are more people like me and you. It's just the idiots are being advertised. That they're in the marketplace, but
right.
yeah, but only so we can't blame the white man. They just saying, hey, this is what y'all buying. If we quit buying it, they got to be like, yo, it's not selling. Y'all got to do something else. They gonna go back to singing. You know what I'm saying? You know, so until we start controlling the narrative, because the average person is not walking around with a Draco. The average
Right.
person wants to watch TV, work, eat some food with his girl or her boyfriend, or get a husband, you know, and raise their kids. That's the average person.
Yep.
But it's so heightened now with the music and like, this is the black man. Like, we're not the models of the black man. You know what I'm saying? Even when
Mm-hmm.
you see, unfortunately, even when you see like uh black studs, they're emulating a thug dude. It's never like a
Mm-hmm.
guy that's chic and, you know,
Yeah. Very
choosing the right
interesting.
words. No, they're emulating what they think what a black dude is, and it's pants sagging, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the the swag or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, that y'all doing too much. Like, that's not that's not us,
Yeah.
you know. So
Indeed.
we just got work to do, but it's gonna
Indeed.
happen. Yeah, we're
I,
gonna
and I
fix it.
and I agree with that, brother. We definitely always got work to do. When people talk about, I'm bored, I'm like, yeah, you don't have enough. Well, one, you don't have enough work to do, but it's the purpose. You're lacking the purpose and the initiative and plan to execute. You may not have that, and that's why I say, like, brothers like yourself, being around youth, being around people to be that spark. Because sometimes we, like you said, we don't have those people around us to be able to have us think differently, act differently, feel differently about our condition and where we're at. And with hip hop, we love the music family. Hip hop is definitely a tool for us to empower ourselves. But once that tool becomes uh, tainted, then we have to reevaluate how it's being used against us to our
Right.
detriment. One of my one of my good friends years ago, man, he's a grassroots organizer. He said that if you think about hip hop just as a whole, the culture, the music, everything, in order for what we call hip hop to exist, it came out of dire situations, out of the Bronx, New York. You know what I'm saying? And it's an old, it's an hip hop comes from a historical cultural remembrance, but in the package that we have labeled it as hip hop existed through the dire situations in the South Bronx, right, in the Bronx mainly.
Right.
And his theory was, his idea was, his belief, I'd rather hip hop not exist and have, like you mentioned earlier, and I'd rather have a nice, stable, economical upbringing. I got food, I got clothing, I got shelter, I got love, than hip hop to exist. I'd rather hip hop not
Right.
exist than to have that. Like you were saying
Right.
earlier, you had a choice. Say, with my brother, like a young Dolph, or any brother who unfortunately has gotten taken out before their lifespan. It's like,
Right.
would you be this big time rapper, entertainer, and have people really gunning for you, trying to kill you early? You got fame, but then you died early. Or would you rather
Right.
go out as a 99-year-old broke, or just a basic living, but you have
Right.
time with family, children, and
Right.
enjoy? Which one would you choose? You know what I'm saying? It's just
Right.
like that perspective, man.
Yeah.
Perspective. So, yeah. But I got just a few more questions because I know we're about at
That's
near the
cool.
end. I appreciate you. What? So since we're on hip hop, I gotta throw this one in. Top five rapper. Top
My
five.
top five.
Yeah, your top five. Your top five. You mentioned one
Uh,
already. You mentioned
yeah.
one.
You know, it would be Pop.
Yeah.
Um, you don't know him, but my homeboy Mac Rain. Yeah. Mac Rain. Um, I like Ye, Kanye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Brad Jordan, Scarface.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Uh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
met him in person too, but he always, Scarface. Uh, two more. Uh, top five.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah. One more. One more.
one more.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
guess. See, Hove is so popular, but I'm really trying to be fair with the
Yeah.
with. Oh, Slick Rick. He
Mm.
inspired me. Yeah, I can't. I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of the people that really boom. Like when I heard him, I was just like, "Yo, this is." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know, because Jay Z had to grow on me. It wasn't
Okay.
like a Slick Rick. When Slick Rick, it was just different. Jay Z,
It
because he
was.
Jay Z came out with Biggie and Pop, and he was in the middle. It was like it was Pac, Biggie, then Jay-Z or Nas.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like that in
Exactly.
that order.
Yeah.
It wasn't like right. It wasn't like it was just Jay-Z and then one nobody else. It was like, they died out, and then you got Nas and Jay-Z alive. But if
Right.
Pac and Biggie was alive, would Jay-Z really be the factor that he is? Like, let's be realistic. You
And
know
that's
what
what
I'm
people
saying?
get right there. That is the heavy
Yeah,
debate. Exactly.
yeah. So
Even Jay kind of nods to that, like with Big, like if Big was
yeah,
still here, I don't know if I had to,
yeah.
you know,
So these people are really, but I mean, not in no super, not in that order. But I mean, but Pac would still be, because again, we only
top five.
got 4 years of his life, and look what he did
Yeah,
in four
yeah,
years. That's tough.
it is tough.
It's
It's
tough,
tough.
Doc.
It
It's
is.
tough.
When you say it like that, you're right, man. It's tough, bro.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't even look at that. Like they
Yeah.
look, when you look at Pac and his body of work, it feels like 10 years. We only got 4 years of his life publicly. Only
Hmm.
4. Look what he did in 4 years, and he died at what, 24, 25?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
brain
24.
don't fully develop until you're 25.
Right.
So he's a kid still.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man.
It didn't take me getting older to I really like, man. They really big, and Tupac, man. They were really young, man. They like
Yeah.
hadn't fully developed yet. They were just coming into their manhood,
Yeah.
their adulthood, really. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like as far as being in America, like yeah, they really just
Yeah.
starting to settle into that. Like,
Right.
you know, yeah, tragedy.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, all right. That's a good top five, man. That's a good top five. I got to listen to
Yeah.
you guys, man. Or
Mac
was it Mac?
Rain. Oh yeah,
Mac
because
Ray?
Mac Rain, he inspired me. Yeah, I sing you some of the music, man. He
Okay,
really inspired me. And even with the music that I do, my style came from him.
okay.
But we all went to the same school, but he was like and I like Eminem too. I wish I could put Eminem in there, because
Okay.
the first time I heard Eminem, uh, you know,
He
just blew my
nasty.
mind. Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't confirm that. You nasty.
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I can't forget Lil Wayne, because he inspired me. I love Wayne. I've
Man.
been rocking with him since cassette tapes when he was with BGs. The BG, it was just
Okay.
him and BG. It was just
Yeah.
them two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
With the shells right there.
but yeah. So but with music, man, it can go deep. We can
Yeah.
we can go for a minute, but I hate the rap narrative now. If I had to think about like, I think last year or in 2 years, over 200 rappers and died.
Yeah. I saw that.
Or within 1 year, something. Yeah, it's real short, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
if I could had the gauntlet ring, and I could snap my fingers to bring them back, and we just erase hip hop or whatever, because they'll still be alive.
Yeah.
So if you take away hip hop, Pac is alive. Pac is an
Yeah.
actor. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Biggie is alive. I don't know what he'll be doing, but I'm just saying they
Hmm.
wouldn't be dead. You can ask anybody if they was alive right now. No one wants to die. Phone run. Nobody
Okay.
wants to die being shot. Let me see if I can get my Bluetooth back on.
Hmm.
I don't know if you still can hear me.
I
Hold
can.
on.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think I got it. Hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Well, nah, they knocked the exhaust. It's cool. I'll
Okay.
go with it like this.
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause I can hear you fine. You're good.
All right, cool. But
Yeah.
I don't think nobody wants to die getting shot down.
Hmm.
Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Even if they let us pick our death, we're never saying, okay, well, I want somebody to come and shoot me. It's gonna be more so like peaceful. Like, I just fell asleep,
Right. Yeah.
frolic in grass, and
Man.
never woke back up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Indeed,
I
man.
feel weird now without a phone, since I had them on
Okay.
Bluetooth.
So
I
I'm
can hear you though. I'm just
okay. Great. All
trying to
right.
connect my Bluetooth.
Okay. So yeah, family. So thank you for rocking with us. I'm gonna ask one more question. Because again, we talk about a lot of things. Economics, hip hop, culture, integrity, community, youth, education. So before we leave out, like, brother, what's one thing we can do to help support not only Black businesses, because this is Black History Month, and but again, we know it's every month, every week, every day. every second. But what's one thing that you would say to us that we can do to support not only your businesses but other Black businesses and practice that group economics, man? That principle.
I'm not big on saying, oh, just because they're Black, support them. Now they got to be professional. But again, you got three type of entrepreneurs. You got, you know what I'm saying, the beginner, the part-time, and the full-time. So be as professional as possible. Do proper research, and we should create hubs. Like, why don't we have our own Amazon? You know, and I'm just saying, like, now there's no way nobody does business with one group. Vendors all over. So you got the toilet paper vendor, you got the sheetrock vendor, you got the food vendor that, you know, kills the cow, and everybody shops with everybody in the marketplace. So it ain't. I'm just saying, being the fact that we are the biggest spenders, you know.
Was it 2 trillion, 3 trillion?
Man, you know, we should be making each other, you know, millionaires. You know, I say this all the time. Like, Memphis is 70% Black. So out of it's 450,000 Black people head count in Memphis, right?
Wow.
And I always be like, man, if we wanted to make a entrepreneur a millionaire per month, we only need to take up $3 from everybody a month. And
wow.
Yeah, you'd be at 1 point. And so if we wanted to make you a millionaire, Memphis, 450,000 Black people say, hey, we're gonna make you your business. We're gonna, finance your business. I would say, okay, we all got to give them $3, and you 1.3 million there, right? At that point, for $3, do the math.
Wow.
From 450,000 people, $3, just $3, one time, makes you a millionaire. And then we can do that every month. Nobody cares about $3. You see what I'm saying? So, man, it can happen. It can happen, but we don't talk about group economics. We don't talk about infrastructure. So this is why I want to promote something I got coming up next. Sure. This is why I'm doing the Mid-South Entrepreneur Expo.
Ooh.
I did it in 2018, and basically, man, I have a lot of vendors. It's a 2-story building, Black-owned building. I always do all my events on the Black-owned roof, trying to patronize. And again, not to say that that's all I'm going to do, because I got to expand it, because my events are growing and I need more space. But I'm always patronize you. But with the expo, man, you got all these different vendors. It's 2 stories, DJ at the top, DJ at the bottom. We got hosts. We got people coming through to speak. I got the flyer up. Got the mayor from West Memphis, Charleston White. Man, hopefully you can come down. Get your brother. Y'all come in. And man, everybody makes money. I make sure that all my vendors get their capital back that they invested in to be a vendor. I packed it out. Well, all of my events be packed. You know what I'm saying? But this one is the Mid-South Entrepreneur Expo. You can look it up. And man, it's just great, man. I got food truck vendors. Man, it's a win-win all the way across the board. So, and then we're practicing group economics in real time. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything is in-house.
Indeed. And when is this expo? We're gonna put some links down below, family. But when is the expo, and how can they find out more?
It's gonna be May 26th.
Okay.
Well, what was the question? Because I can barely hear you now because I got my headphones.
It was gonna be what dates? Like, say what dates, and where can they find out more information? Like a link, and we'll put it down in the chat too.
You can just type up the Mid-South Entrepreneur Expo.
Okay.
And you'll see it. You'll see the watermark on Facebook, or you can type up the 901 Union, 901union.com.
Okay.
And, that's our group, and you can see it on that. It's May 29th, the last Sunday in May. And man, we're taking all kind of vendors. And man, it's just good. It's very entertaining. And I'm just putting the medicine in the candy. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So they
Yeah.
practicing group economics. They won't even be knowing that they doing it, but I'm always like, we practicing group economics, like in real time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wins. Product, merchandise. Uh, we did a Kickstarter competition with the children. So if we had children competing for us to finance their dreams, or whoever had the best sales pitch, kind of like Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
A group of entrepreneurs would, whoever won, they got a trophy, and when we financed their dream, got their whatever their merchandise or whatever services they need, retractable banners, cards, the logo, the LLC, the C Corp. We took care of all of it for them, and it was good, man. It's very good.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to support here at Green Rise Collective. Even though my co-host Kayode here, we say the same thing, man. Like that's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you're doing all these things, and we wholeheartedly support that. Putting back into the community, man. Putting back ideas and inspiration. Like you said, you aspire to inspire before you expire. I like that. I'm gonna use that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, brother. I mean, I thank you, man, for your time today, man. I thank you for your energy. I salute you, brother. I celebrate you. This was a long time coming, but I'm glad we're able to collab today, brother. Seriously.
Well, I appreciate, man, finally making a show. I'm at it every day, and if anybody needs any help, if I can help them, man, just hit me up, man, on social media, Facebook, or
Mm-hmm.
I got Kyle up, and I'm just here to help, man. Let's build what we want, So let's build what we want to see. We want to see a change. We want to see, we complain about, the dysfunctional behavior. So let's change that. You know what I'm saying? Let's protest against that. Let's boycott killing. Let's boycott civil war. And let's do more events where we come together as a collective, doing expos, helping each other out. You know what I'm saying? Promoting, posting, making posting positivity popular. You see what I'm saying? Versus sharing fights and stuff like that, and all this dysfunctional behavior and stupid stuff. Let's wake up with love on our mind. Look at your child as an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Ironically, my daughter was calling.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call it back, but that inspires me right there. Them little ones. And thank you, man, for having me, man. I really do appreciate it. And I'm gonna send you some more Coleman and Neil gear, watches, and y'all can check it out. So we got dresses, we got coats, we got backpacks, purses. Just ColemanNeil.com. Just check it out. If y'all looking for fashion, upscale fashion is for Black designers.
Indeed.
It is up.
And the quality is real. Like I said, we up, family. It's up. Like the quality is, there. It's not just, him just putting him and his partner putting his name on something. The quality is there. Trust. You know what I'm saying? And if not, if you don't trust, you can still research it because the quality is there. So, definitely that's why I wear it. That's why I support it, and I support the brother's mission and what he's doing. So if I can spend 25 with someone I don't even know, I could definitely give this to my brother has quality goods and also has quality service. You know what I'm saying? So much respect, brother. Thank you. Thanks again.
My little girl steady calling, but she tough. Hey, one thing about her, she is consistent.
Look where she get it from.
Daddy pick up. She knows.
Exactly. Look what you get it from. So, family, we're gonna end on that note, man. Fatherhood duty calls for this brother. Thank you, family, for spending time with us. Definitely like, share, subscribe to the Grand Rise Collective podcast. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on IG. I am your host, Kyle Dixon. My co-host, Kayode Bentley, is not here, but he's here with us in spirit, and he'll be back next time. But thank you. God bless. Be prosperous, productive, and peace out, y'all. Have a great day. Peace.